Hi guys, sorry to interrupt your video. Just a quick plea, subscribe to my channel please. If you haven't done it already, subscribe. Tell your friends, subscribe. Thanks. How much can stopping distances increase in icy conditions? Well, I mentioned that 10 times, didn't I? So let's have a look. 2, 3, 5, 10. Sold. Bing. Easy. What requires extra care when you're driving or riding in windy conditions? Using your brakes? Not really. Moving off on a hill? No, that won't affect you. Turning into a narrow road? No. Passing pedal cyclists? Yes. You see, passing a pedal cyclist, they could get blown around. Same as lorries. High winds will blow them. If you had an open road, then as a lorry comes past like bushes, the bushes will stop the wind hitting him, and as soon as the bushes stop, all of a sudden the wind comes across, hits him, boom, pushes him to the side, you see. So passing pedal cyclists, lorries, anything, because they're a big sail. So that will require extra care. Why should you keep well to the left as you approach a right-hand bend? Right. Let's have a look. To improve your view of the road. It will. We all know this. If you're trying to see around a corner, we lean, don't we, to look around the corner. You sort of go, anything around there? You know, if you're poking your head around a corner, you just lean over to look further around the corner. No brainer. So improve your view of the road. That does work. The wider you go, the further around the corner you can see, the further up the road you can see, the earlier you can start braking if you need to. To overcome the effect of the road slope? Not really. To let faster traffic from behind overtake you? Widen your corner. To be positioned safely if you skid? No, not really. You shouldn't be skidding because you should be driving at the right speed. So I'm going with the improve my view. Hurrah! You've just gone through flood water. Right, same as a ford, isn't it? What should you do to make sure your brakes are working properly? Accelerate and keep to a high speed for a while? No. Go slowly while gently applying the brakes. Well, that makes sense. Avoid using the brakes at all for a few miles? No. You want to dry them out, remember? Stop for at least an hour to allow them to dry? No. All you've got to do is use them. That'll squirt the water out. The friction inside will heat up the brakes. They'll soon dissipate all the water. You'll just turn them to steam. Brakes are way hotter than steam. What will be affected if the road surface becomes soft in very hot weather? Right, now generally in my experience, if the road gets above 30 degrees, if you've got external temperatures of 30 degrees, then the road starts to melt. You actually get little bits of gravel stuck in your tyres and things like this, a bit of bitumen. And so therefore, if you can't really, I mean it's sticky, but if you brake you can actually rip up the road surface. If you did like a 3-point turn, you can see where you've been turning, it just rips the road surface up. Terrible stuff. So, what will be affected? Suspension? Not really. Exhaust emissions? No. Fuel consumption? Well, if you're sticking, yeah, probably. Tyre grip, there you go. The thing that's touching the road is going to be affected because the road itself is melting, slopping away. It's going to be tyre grip, isn't it? Where is your vehicle most likely to be affected by side winds? Well, when the wind can hit you. So when there's nothing next to you, really, I suppose. Let's have a look. Narrow country lane. Unlikely. You've got bushes both sides. On an open stretch of road. Yes. As if it's open, you've got wind that can come whistling across a field, hit you and blow you around. You get buffeting. On a busy stretch of road, well, that doesn't... Well, just because it's busy doesn't mean that wind can get to you or not. You get tunnels that are busy, there's no wind in there. On a long straight road. Well, true, but again, it doesn't mean the wind can get to you. It's the open bit. There's nothing stopping the wind from getting to you. Good. All right, let's see what he's got to say about wind. So in windy conditions, care must be taken on exposed roads. A strong gust of wind can blow you off course. Watch out for other road users who are particularly likely to be affected, such as cyclists, motorcyclists, high-sided lorries and vehicles towing trailers. Yes. You're following a vehicle on a wet road. Wet road. You stay at a safe distance behind it. What should you do if a driver overtakes you and pulls into the gap you've left? Right. You are following a vehicle at a safe distance. If somebody else sticks their car in that gap, you are no longer at a safe distance, and so you need a safe distance, so therefore increase the gap. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really understand why bother people bother to tailgate, you know. You could drive for a mile, and let's face facts, if you're following a car and he comes up to a traffic light, he's going to pull up and stop, and you're just going to stop behind him, right? And then you wait, and then you both move off at the same time. But in the meantime, that 1 mile journey, you could drive really close to the vehicle in front and rush the risk of totaling your car and getting it smashed up if he stops suddenly. Or you could drive with a gap. It ultimately doesn't affect when you finish your journey. But in the meantime, do you want to drive dangerously close, or do you want to drive safely so your stress levels are reduced, you've got more time to react, you know, you're not in any danger? Well, logic. Let's create a gap, people. So, flash your headlights as a warning? No, not really. Just create a gap. Try to overtake safely as soon as you can. Why? Is this a race? Drop back to regain a safe distance? Well, that's logical. Stay close to the other vehicle until it moves on. No. If he stops and you smash your car up, your car gets smashed up and it's your insurance that pays out. Don't get close to stuff. Right, you're travelling on the motorway. How can you lower the risk of a collision when the vehicle behind is following too closely? Right, we cannot change how close the vehicle behind you follows. And this is psychology of driving, basically. What happens is people get used to driving close to the vehicle in front. And realistically, they're not going to have a car crash, are they? I mean, people drive around all day in, day out, and they don't smash into stuff. Periodically you will. But they don't naturally just drive around crashing day in, day out. So what happens is, people drive close because you actually start to learn to drive from the age of 2. And you copy your parents, and if your parents drive too close, then you will drive too close. And what people often do is they drive close because they want to protect the area in front of them. They want to stop other cars pulling in front, which is... it's just, you know, that's just the way the psychology of it works, but it's pointless to do that. So people will often drive too close, and if they had an accident, they don't go, oh well, you know, I have been lucky for the last 20 years. What they do is they say, well, normally I don't crash, so I must have been just unlucky, and they start driving in exactly the same place again, right? Which of course defies logic. So people just drive too close. It's not that they want to push you down the road. It's not that they're trying to apply extra pressure, because often if you come across a road, you've got somebody bolted onto the back of you and they've had ample opportunity to overtake, but they haven't taken it, then logically they are happy to be there. It's just that they drive too close. But of course now you're worried that if you stop suddenly, they'll smash into the back of your car. So what you've got to do is adapt your drive so that you don't have to stop suddenly. And the best way to do that is increase the gap to the vehicle in front, so you've got more time. You can brake gently over a longer distance. Look long, don't just look at the car in front, but look at the cars in front of them. Because if 6 cars ahead somebody's braking for something, then all 6 cars are going to brake. So you might as well start braking when the one in the lead starts braking, not car number 5. Alright? So... here we go. You're travelling on the motorway. How can you lower the risk of a collision when the vehicle behind is following too closely? Increase your distance from the vehicle in front. Ta-da! Brake sharply? No, because he'll smash into the back of you. Switch on your hazard warning lights? No need. You could just increase the gap. And move on to the hard shoulder and stop? No, only in an emergency. So just increase your gap. If he doesn't like it, he'll overtake, won't he? In which case, your problem has solved itself. You're following other vehicles in fog. You have your headlights on dipped beam, which is great. What else can you do to reduce the chance of being in a collision? Right, well this is all about see and be seen, or drive it in a manner that caters for the fact that visibility is poor. You're in fog, aren't you? Right, so let's have a look. Keep close to the vehicle in front. No, because if he stops suddenly, you'll hit him. Use main beam instead of dip beam. No, because you will blind the driver that's in front of you. Keep up with the faster vehicles. No, if they're travelling fast in fog, people often drive too fast in fog, and therefore they smash into stuff. There was a 200 car pile-up not too many years ago in fog, because people just kept ploughing into the fog. They're driving too fast and were unable to stop within the distance they can see. So that's just really dangerous. Keep a safe distance from the vehicle in front. Quite right. What should you do when you're using a Contraflow system? Right, Contraflow system This, my friends, is a contraflow system. Contra goes against, like to contradict, you're going against somebody else's diction. And so a contraflow system is where traffic goes against the normal flow of traffic. So in this picture, traffic would normally come this way, but the traffic here has been moved through the central reservation and into oncoming traffic. Now, they'll have gone and put barriers up to separate traffic, but the reason they've done it is because this lane has been shut here. So this lane moves over into that one, and this lane moves over to there. So that is a contraflow system, and these are the signs that you will get to tell you that you're going to do that. Alright, so if you had a contraflow bus lane, for instance, that often comes up in a theory test. I would expect it on a one-way street. You're not going to be on a fast road, so I'm expecting like a one-way street in town, but a contraflow bus lane would be all the cars travel that way, but a bus lane can come this way. So it's a contraflow, it goes against flow, and it's a bus lane. And you'd get that in a one-way street, for instance. So let's have a look. What should you do when you're using a contraflow system? Right. It's roadworks as well, remember, so it's probably a reduced speed limit, things like this. Choose an appropriate lane in good time. Well, I like that, so I'm going to pick that one to start with because that is plausible. You don't want to do it the last second, because you might end up crashing into a barrier or cones or something. Switch lanes to make better progress. No, there's a lot of traffic around, just pick your lane, stay in it. Increase speed to get through the contraflow more quickly. No, there's often a reduced speed limit in the area, and they often have average speed cameras. Follow other motorists closely to avoid long queues. No, we don't follow closely unless you want your car destroyed. What should you do when you're overtaking a motorcyclist on a windy day? Well, we've already seen this question many times. Wide, people. Pass close? No. Pass very slowly? No. Pass wide. Pass immediately. There you go. Wide, 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 wide. Oh, he shoots, he scores 34 out of 34. Owned it. There you go. Safety margins. Well, that's your answers. Hopefully you've seen how I'm thinking about it and what's going on. Thanking you.